So the first thing we pay out is a full 10%. Other companies say that we pay up to 10%. I've never seen a binary yet, except our company, where they do pay a full 10%. They pay more like 6, 7, or 8%, and this is why. Okay? I'm going to teach you something that happens in all binary structures. This volume right here, again, I said there was like $10,000 in this volume, let's say for example, and so that $10,000 is made up of that volume right there. This person gets paid 10% of that volume, but this person's getting paid 10% on some of the same volume. There's his weaker leg. So now we've got some of the same volume that we're paying 10% out twice. What about this person? Same volume. So right here, I'm paying that volume out 3 different times. 10% to this guy, 10% to this guy, and 10% to this guy. So you see, the company's paying more out than 10%. You're earning 10% individually, but as a company, we may be paying out upwards of 40% into the binary because we're paying some of the same 10% volume over and over and over again because these people have some of the same volume in their structures as you do, okay? So, an actual binary, we're not paying out just 10%. The company pays out a lot greater volume than that, okay? But I want to teach you something about breakage. Say, for example, this person right here is entitled to a check for $1,000, but yet he's not active. That means we can't give him the check. Well, if we don't pay out that $1,000, where does it go? In other network marketing companies, we call that breakage. It breaks back to the company, and the company gets to keep it. Doesn't have to pay it out because this person wasn't active. Because there's all kinds of people that may not be active that could get a check if they were active, and because of that, that's breakage that goes back to the company. That's why binaries pay out probably maybe 7 or 8%. We pay out a full 10%, and I'm going to show you why. Because remember I said at the start we pay out a full 52%? Well, after we paid out the binary, and let's say just for ease of mathematics here, that we paid out a full 40% that month in binary money to everybody in our organization, and we end up paying about 40% of that 52% is paid out in the binary. And then let's add another 2% because we have some bonus programs where bonus pools where people can get into and earn a portion of the company's total volume of the entire company. So let's say that we've paid out a total of 42% so far in commissions. But we say we pay out 52%. That means we've got what? We've got 10% left over still to pay. And that's how we arrive at what we pay in the second phase, what we call the enrollment tree. In the enrollment tree, it's also called the check match, because we're going to match a percentage of whatever their binary check was. So in this instance, I've got 10% left over that is going to be paid out in matching checks. So let's say a person got a check for $1,000 and he's right here. That means you would get 10% of that $1,000 or $100 off that one person. Let's say this guy got a check for $2,000 in his binary commissions. That means you'd get a check for $200, 10% of the $2,000, and so on for everybody in your enrollment tree. So now we're paying a full 52% because we paid out 42% in the binary. We paid out another 10% in the enrollment tree, and now we've paid out a full 52%. Okay, and that's how the enrollment tree works. Remember, we are paying a percentage of whatever their binary earned commissions was. Now every month this figure changes. Let's say in a month that we only paid out, let's say we paid out 35% total in bonuses and binary money. Well, that means we've got 17% left over to pay over here. So the higher this is, the lesser the check match. The lower we pay out here, the higher the check match. So we're always paying out the full 52%. Let's say there's a huge amount of breakage that month, that a lot of people forget to be active or something, and there's just lots and lots of breakage. And let's say we only paid out 25% in the binary. That means that this would go up then to 27% that we'd pay out in the check match over here. So you see, every month is different, and it all depends on how much breakage we have, and whatever's left over that we haven't paid is what we pay out over here. So every month, this figure is different, depending on what's left over to arrive at the 52%. So you can see in this dual compensation plan the advantages of having both a binary and an enrollment tree, because we're not only going to pay you for all your efforts over here. These same people they're also over here also. We're now going to pay you a percentage again. So the bottom line is, people ask me all the time, on a binary they say, what leg do you pay on? And people say, oh, we pay on the weak leg. We don't do that. We actually pay on the weak leg twice and the strong leg once. How do we do that? We pay on the weak leg once in the binary, and then we pay enrollment tree, which is everybody, including these people down here in rollover. So we're going to pay you here once, and then we're going to pay you enrollment tree, which is everybody. So we're going to pay you here again and here. So we're going to pay you actually twice on the weak leg and once on the strong leg in your binary when we put all the whole compensation plan together.